What's going on, guys? It's Charr here, back with another video. I know it's been a minute, nothing really super special going on with me, just been reading and doing whatnot. Maybe my post-con break had been 2 weeks delayed from the Con of Heroes, but I'm back. I'm going to be recording and uploading some stuff here. Speaking of cons, you might be wondering what today's video is about. Essentially, I'm just going to be going through and shouting out kind of ways to go out and get out there and play in game. I know primarily a lot of my audience previously is just coming from primarily playing the game solo, and as I've transitioned more into basically only a multiplayer player, cons are a great way for you to get into kind of that headspace, playing multiplayer, playing with other people, maybe joining up on discords like the unofficial discord to play some like pickup games like with webcam. Essentially the whole point of this is that to be a source of like a resource for information and whatnot for all the different types of cons in this community. If I didn't actually catch one of the conventions on the radar, maybe it's from a different country or in a language I don't read, feel free to advertise or throw it in the comment section down below. But essentially we're just going to go through kind of the list of cons. We're going to go over some of the ones that have already happened this year along with the ones that are coming up and just shout them out kind of individually, see what they're all about, and to keep you guys informed on how you can get out there and get playing. So here's my usual like split screen setup we have going on here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the one, the only, the Con of Heroes. This was kind of the first con that I went to, so it definitely has a near and dear place in my heart. It was kind of like the only con for the longest time. I don't want to step on any toes. There's probably been some going on in other countries, but in my opinion, at least in I would say the western part of the world, if you could only really pick to go to one con a year, this is the con to do it. I don't think that's really crazy to say. This is the Marvel Champions Con, and if you want to like really save up and splurge for a trip, this is the one to go to. Every single year the people at the con put on such a good show. Every single year they really take the feedback to heart and they're learning, they're expanding into like bigger venues. I really did like the venue this year. It was just great to have so much more space to play. I love that it was kind of like 24 hours. People were playing into the all like late evenings and really starting early in the morning. It was crazy. You're just like surrounded by the energy all day, all night. It was such a good time. You know, this is their website of here. It's like conofheroes.com, and you know, here's a picture of kind of like the play space and whatnot, you know, during one of the days. And there's like a couple of things you can check out, like their prep articles for the last year. There's really no info on Con of Heroes 2027. The only thing is that it usually takes place in May. So if this is something you're considering or you want to actually check out, trust me, it has the biggest glowing recommendation for me. I've been 2 years in a row, and it's been a great time both of the times. Yeah, so this is nothing really coming up, so it's not something you can super plan around, but if you want to keep your schedule as open as you can during May of next year, definitely try to make your way out. So the second one we're going to move into is kind of a international convention, something that is not local to me. Obviously, if you live in this area, it's not international for you, but I digress. This is Marvel Champions, and I'm going to butcher this name, Treffen der Helden 2026. I hope I didn't just spit on the pronunciation of it, anyone who speaks this language. I'm pretty sure this is in Germany, but again, please feel free to correct me if it is not. This also is a con that just happened. It was from 6/14 or 6/13 to 6/14. So yeah, June 13th to the 14th, and I heard they had a really good event. I heard kind of through osmosis that it went over really well. They also got card reveals, so I forgot to mention that about Con of Heroes, where during the developer panel at Con of Heroes, we actually got card reveals for the Cloak and Dagger ally, and I'm pretty sure that this convention also got card reveals, in addition to handing out like the German Valkyrie and Spectrum promos that were only for that like location in the world, which I was super jealous of. Those are the last promos I've never quite gotten my hands on, so definitely huge shout outs to them. I heard they had a really good event. Again, if you are kind of in this moving from the west to like kind of this eastern hemisphere, and this is something that you play champions in this area, definitely make sure to be on the lookout for this. Now, I know one of my good friends in the community, Marcel, is kind of hosting like an ancillary con or maybe like a secondary con based on kind of this branding. Treffen their sidekicks. Again, I don't know how to actually pronounce that, but maybe Marcel can help me out here in the future. Seems like this is an event they're having on the 26th of September in 2026. It looks like a one-day event, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I don't actually speak German, which I assume this language is, but there's a little Google document form link for filling out information or tickets or whatnot. And yeah, I guess that's something I should mention about each of these. I'm pretty sure both of these had tickets that cost money. Again, if I'm incorrect, let me know. But Con of Heroes, definitely there's a ticket cost associated. It does cost money to run these events. You also get like a ton of alt arts and like stuff like that and custom content. So it's definitely more than worth to support the community in that way. I guess we're moving on from, I guess this Sidekicks hasn't happened yet. I was going to say we're moving on to cons that have already happened this year to cons in the future. But we're already at cons in the future. So moving away from this branding, we're taking it back to kind of the mainland US here with Assemble Zombies. So this is something that's coming up very soon, probably at the time of posting this. This is from July 17th to the 19th. It is a 3-day event. Again, I try my best to find information associated with these events the best I can. I couldn't really find a website for this. I did find a video of them kind of showing off the custom content, but this is kind of a smaller con, not necessarily... I'm not making any sort of value judgments on whether a con being smaller or larger is necessarily better, but this is usually, these happen twice a year as far as I understand, and they're always around a certain theme. So I think the last time they had something that was like a cosmic encounter that they did like 5-person games of Marvel Champions, or just something kind of wild that really changed the way you played the game. And this one, they're going with Marvel Zombies theming. So you have a little bit of a blurb here, which I'll read through. Players will participate in a 3-session campaign throughout the weekend where they will work with different teams to battle and defeat the zombie horde. The custom campaign will give it out to each attendee to take home with them so they can play again. Then you have more details of encounter events and time will be added as the event gets closer. Again, I can't necessarily find any of that specific information here, but I think if you have a ticket, they probably sent out emails or anything to tell you what to bring, what to pack, and kind of the schedule of events. This is something that interests you. It seems that the tickets are still on sale as of now. If you are kind of near this Manchester, Connecticut area, go ahead and reach out, buy your tickets, or reach out to Brand on Discord if you want more information. Again, all these will be linked down below. The main goal of this video is to just shout out these things that you might not be aware of. And again, if you guys have any other events you are planning that you would consider a con, like I know there's like celebration release events and anything. I'm hosting like a release event for Fear No Evil in San Antonio, but I wouldn't really count that in like the con sphere. These are very specific like events, not tied to like releases or milestones or anything like that. That's just kind of where I make the distinction for myself. And that's what I was talking about right here. You have a little bit of a peek into my YouTube, but we have like, what's it called? They did actually show, what's it called? I would assume this is the Zombies mod set and whatnot, showed being played on Step Into the Portal, which I think is Brand's YouTube channel, or the YouTube channel for the store or whatnot. But yes, they're showing it being played. So this is something that sounds interesting to you and you are in the area. Again, 2-week notice. So again, I wish I had some time to bring this out a little earlier, but I'm a tad busy. But anyways, if this interests you, make sure to go check it out. Linked in the description below. Finally, we are moving on to MCDC. So this is the second year of MCDC. I know they did kind of a smaller event last year, and it's looking, from what I understand, it's shaping up to be an even bigger event this year. I think it's in the same venue though. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to make it out this year, and I also not have a chance to do it this year. Last year, I also will not have a chance this year to make it out. I have a wedding going on around at the same time, so I'm not I'm not making a trip to the East Coast 2 weekends in a row. That's just kind of how it worked out, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks really cool. I really do like the pun. Like the MCDC is funny. Like I think what they're doing here is really fun. This is October 16th through the 18th. Again, you can buy tickets here. Most of them use this Tito link, so you can see the price here and any of the additional information where you get entry to play for 3 days, 2 custom scenarios, 4 mods, booster pack of unofficial full art reprints, and then play space at the hotel. So essentially they'll have like hotel space to play in too. Seems pretty cool to me. So that's all the ticketing information, but you're like, well, you're showing me the ticketing information, but what's this about? So I actually don't know. I was reached out to by the MCDC team to do like an article preview, and the timing just didn't really line up with what I had going on at the time. But I do have a little bit of free time now, so I can kind of briefly go over this. I've never read this. It's like a first time impression of anything this is going on. Again, as someone who's not able to make it out to the event, you know, keeping up with the articles isn't like on the top of my priority list, but I hope they did cool work here. So let's go through it kind of briefly and check out what they're doing here. Start from the feature here. I did like kind of a semi-article reaction to this, but it felt like not super coherent because there's a lot of things in this article that kind of get revealed as it goes along, so I had a lot of like questions after reading through this one time. I'll just kind of give my reactions. I think this article is really cool. I love what the team was doing here. Regardless of having you guys, if anyone wants to actually see my initial reaction for whatever reason, it's not very good. I'm kind of getting confused by a lot of different things, but by the end of it, it all kind of makes sense, and it's like a complete package. So essentially, this is a custom scenario called the Big Apple. What it's doing is it's creating this kind of way to make the game feel more like a board game where the location on a map actually matters. You're going to have this 3x3 grid with 1 through 9 listed, and your hero can move through these different locations, and these locations have like different type of abilities that affect either like your allies there or your heroes there or your hand size or whatnot. And essentially the whole conceit of this scenario is that these capos are in a gang war. And so if you're in one of the rows, so if you see right here, you have this V that lines up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're called turfs. So if you're in a turf of a specific villain, they activate against you. But what it also means that you can only interact with other players if they're in the same turf that you are. I mean, there's kind of like this kind of meta kind of progression, or there is meta progression with like the lead system, which we'll get into in a second. But essentially, you have to be able to like move around and coordinate, especially if people need help with like a really nasty minion. If you're not in the same turf as them, you can't actually help them, meaning you need to move around, which may stop you from following a lead you have. So it's definitely pretty interesting for sure. Also, I completely missed this part of the gang war main scheme where it says, I was wondering how the leads even got into play. Each player reveals a card from the lead deck. Essentially what it is, it feels like kind of a board gamey, kind of half Baron Zemo. You're kind of looking for the person supplying all the weapons in this gang war so you can put it down for good. One of the 3 villains here will be the one responsible for the gang war, and so they get exposed somehow. I'm trying to figure out where the card is so I can show you. It's called the Gun Runner here. So they essentially get exposed and they get this really powerful buff that gives them 7 per player hit points, +1 to their stats, and they get a tough, and essentially lets you win the scenario. As you're doing that, the only way to find out who the Gun Runner is to actually, get the leads. So you start with 4 lead cards. They kind of feel like they're obligation cards that sit in your play area. And essentially what these cards do is they give you like a little side quest to do that correspond to almost every single one of these. I think corresponds to one of the locations in, one of the locations in kind of that 9x9 grid. So as you see, bar fight at Josie's, can do this response in House Kitchen, whereas something like Walk in the Park can only happen in the Upper East Side. So essentially the whole conceit of the scenario is you're trying to find who the Gun Runner is and stop the gang war. You're going to have randomized kind of capos that are in the lines that are going to be the villains you're going to fight once you're in their turf. So you can manipulate kind of where you start your turn, where you end your turn. Maybe you go here and you clear your lead and then you move to a different place because maybe that villain's a bit easier for you to handle on the villain phase. Definitely seems like there's a lot of room for strategy and fun things that can go on. Again, you have this like large environment which tells you all this stuff where they all start in Midtown. Players can only interact with locations, abilities, and cards attached that they occupy. As an action, you can spend a resource or exhaust a character to move around on the map. And then also another set of rules. Each row of locations is a turf. Players can only interact with villains or other players in the same turf, and then players can interact with all schemes. So it's definitely pretty cool kind of way to kind of bring a new aspect to Marvel Champions. I wonder if they'll maybe try and continue going down this kind of location design on later MCDCs. But again, I think my initial read of this article was very confusing, and I don't think it did it justice, where at the end, once you have sat through and read through it all once, it kind of makes sense. Very cool design here. If this is something at all that sounds interesting to you, kind of like a new access to play with this custom content and dealing with like this capos and finding out the mole, or like the who's supplying all the guns in the gang war, definitely go ahead and check this out. This might awkwardly cut back to after my initial reaction, where I might be saying some confusing things, but in general, this is MCDC, or maybe I just end it here. Again, you can look through the website. There's a couple other things where they have like city ledgers. They have like so many more articles. There's like card previews if you really want to dig deep into the cards and not be confused when you get there. And then obviously we have like these evidence articles too. I think they put a lot of effort into this. If it looks at all interesting to you and you're free and you're in the DMV area, or you want to head out there from October 6th and 18th, make sure to check it out. Linked in the description. Then we'll cut back to the video now. Looks cool. If you're in the area, it's kind of in Washington, D.C., I'm pretty sure, DMV. So yeah, if you're in the area and you're free October 6th and 18th, make sure to check this out. Looks like a good time. And then finally, the one I'd say was kind of not the one I was most excited to talk about, but essentially the reason I wanted to make this video is Alter Ego Con. Again, sorry, Ashtar, if I'm not giving the best information that I can here. This is Alter Ego Con. When I saw this, I was very excited for it, and I'm kind of slacking on submitting some stuff for it, but I will be getting around to it. Hopefully this video will definitely inspire me to do so. Yeah, I'm very excited about this one. Essentially, this is doing a con for people who have never gone to a con before, and it doesn't cost any money. So if we read through this, save the date, Alter Ego Con, August 15th to the 16th. It is a free virtual convention, so virtual is the key word here. You don't actually have to travel or go anywhere. That brings the community all while they're at home in Alter Ego, which I think is really fun. I think it's a great name for a convention and a great idea for a convention. I think there's definitely a hunger and a thirst for playing with people and playing in a convention setting, and being able to do that from the kind of comfort of your home is very, very cool. Join us for a scheduled God of Lies event. I really do like that Loki scenario, so doing it online, especially if we get like something built out that can kind of automate the damage and whatnot, be super cool. Or the weekend-long Play It All challenge. This is another thing I was really super excited about, where we as a community see how much official content we can play in one weekend. You can play at home, on webcams, or wherever else you may be. Join up with a group or play solo as your time allows. There will be a raffle where participants will be entered to win a variety of prizes, including some of the official FFG promos that will be up for grabs. Be sure to block off your calendar and keep your eyes on this server, wherever else you get your news, to watch for more details. So again, I think this is primarily going to be in the unofficial Marvel Champions Discord, so make sure you go ahead and join in. I'll definitely leave a link down below to go ahead and join in and check it out there. And yeah, this is just very exciting for me. I think that the game really sings and the game really shines when you're able to sit down with people, play in multiplayer. And I love the fact that in this Alter Ego Con, you can play with people, but you don't necessarily have to play online. And like, say you get your friends to come over, you're still participating in the con, right? Like, you're going through the Play It All. Maybe you're the madmen who are going to play like Nebula on Expert in 3-player, and then it's like you get to come into the server and report like, I got Nebula beat, like I beat Nebula. I think it's going to be super cool. I hope we are able to go through the Play It All challenge where we're able to just clear every single, like all the content in the game in one weekend with the variety of games taking place. I think it's going to be super cool, and I'm really excited for the raffles and whatnot. And it's just gonna feel like a con for the people who couldn't make any conventions, whether that's time, whether it's money, whether it's a variety of different things. You got children, different stages of life and whatnot. I'm very excited for this. I want to keep shouting it out and keep bringing attention to it. So make sure August 15th to the 16th, if you are around at home and you're like, I want to play some champions, but I don't have anyone to play it with. Now you do. It's your excuse. Get it, get a cheap webcam or set up your phone, put it on the table, boom, webcam games. I'll be playing that weekend. I'll make sure to find you guys and make sure to do it as well. Just feel free to reach out if you're looking for people to game with on my Discord, on the unofficial Discord, or anywhere in between. Okay, so while I was finishing recording and editing up this video, I went ahead and reached out to Astrodar to see if there's any more information coming from the con, and he just recently released a link to this kind of Google form for more information about Alter Ego Con. Again, I was really excited for this, so we'll go over this like kind of Google form real quick. He did make a post on the Marvel Champions unofficial server or the community server about Alter Ego Con with some more information, but essentially everything in that post is here, so just read through it. This is essentially for the sign up for the multiversal Loki God of Lies pre-registration. A little bit of the blurb here. It's a free online convention for August 15th and 16th. The majority of the event will involve free play, where we will attempt to play all official hero scenarios and modular sets across the weekend. Super excited for that. Sounds like a ton of fun. Additionally, the Alter Ego Con will be hosting an online Loki God of Lies event on August 15th at 12 p.m. EDT or UTC-4. We're all going to work together to bring down one massive Loki. Super cool. I'm looking forward to it. I really do love the Loki scenario. And essentially, there's a little more info here on like what to do when you sign up, but just like understanding you need to be in the server to track the Loki health. You need access to the Loki God of Lies scenario, and whether you're doing it solo, you're group playing at home, group playing at a local event, which I think will probably be what happens with me and my group of players, or a group meeting up for online play or whatever else. Also on the same day, there's going to be prizes for raffles that'll be like official promos, custom alt arts, third-party accessories, other things. Not everyone's going to win something, but again, this is free to play, free to join, free to enter. And then he has his email here to reach out if you have any questions, Astrodar on the server or Alter Ego Chronicles at gmail.com. So you have your Discord name, best email, how many players, what time zone, and understanding you need to be in the server. Super cool. Definitely just wanted to add this addendum. This will be linked in the description along with the Marvel Champions unofficial Discord or community server. Make sure to join up. Really excited for this, and I hope to see you guys there. That's essentially it for this video. I thought that this was just super cool initiative that everyone was putting on. The community is awesome. There's so many conventions going on all the time. There's so many popping up. So as always, make sure to show your love and support to all of these great people, putting in all their time, money, effort, everything in between to make these conventions really cool for all of us. If you are able and have the means to make it out and something that sounds like it would be interesting to you, make sure to check it out. That's going to be it for me for now. I have a couple of videos in the work that I really need to get working on. So even though I'm not going to do that right now, trust me, they are in the pipeline. I'm looking forward to Fear No Evil. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Goodbye.